Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hola.
We are live. Oh,
That dancing
makes
donut
me
makes me crazy every single time. I always want to grab it.
so happy with that animation. Really, really happy with it. You know, the donut is our mascot. So, of course, very important part of the conference, the snack theme and
Is
everything.
it really a mascot or is it more of a spirit animal?
Oh,
Ooh.
maybe all the things. Or is it like
Maybe
our
all things.
guardian, like angel thing?
Then again,
Let's just
I'll
go
take
for
that back because that kind of gets you to, hey, look at me eating my spirit animal, and that would be weird. So
that would be bad.
Oh, that's true.
bad karma,
Or
bad
like in
karma.
Harry Potter, when you have like the thing that saves you from things.
The Patronus.
Everyone got their own. Yeah, the Patronus. Maybe that's it.
The donut charm.
Yes. Okay, but sorry, who are we? Should we have a bit of an introduction? So obviously you're watching the Fabric February live streams where we invite some of our amazing Fabric February friends to join us to have a bit of a chat and talk about all the cool things. And today is no exception. So myself, Emily, and Catherine were the organizers of Fabric February, and we are joined today with our fantabulous Fabric February friend, Ben. Yay!
Hello. It's a
So
me.
it's you.
You're
How are
doing all the
you?
languages today.
So multilingual. I mean, that's
International.
the thing. You only need to know a word or two in a language, and people will be like super impressed by all the languages you speak.
That's how you
Also,
fake it till you make it.
uh, true story. Also, I think I'm able to order beer in more than like 15 languages. So, I mean, priority.
That's impressive. But how are you, Ben? How are you?
Funny you should ask that because last week I'm so glad we're doing this week because it turns out this entire COVID thing is still a thing, but I'm doing better. And this year I'm playing it smart. So this year I was doing it the week before Christmas, well, 2 weeks before Christmas rather than the week of Christmas. So check.
Very smart.
Good
Yeah.
planning.
I mean, thank you, daycare, for planning ahead this year and giving us all the germs. No, but I'm doing quite well. I'm ready for the holidays to come up. I mean, there's a reason why I was asking if we could do it basically the episode right before Christmas. So thank you for accommodating me.
Of course. We're in the Christmas mood and spirit.
We
And
are.
with the Nerdycorns here as well, as promised.
Sparkles.
Yay, sparkles are the best.
I wore the fancy gift thing. So yes, you're all my presents. So I try to kind of impress.
Aww.
But Ben, it says that your title is a data passionist. What does that
That is
mean?
true.
What do you put into that? I've always wondered, and I've actually never asked you.
It means I love data. Question answered, riddle solved, or should I go?
Let's keep going.
Okay, you just stop me at some point. No. First of all, given that I'm old, I've been dealing with data for quite a while now, and basically what I've been doing in my professional life, basically in the part that kind of pays the bills, we've always been building analytic solutions, data warehousing solutions. I mean, this is how Catherine and I got to initially meet, talking about BIML and stuff, which we are still using to this day. Or the BIML dance. It's a classic. We're digressing again. But also, the other thing I'm kind of known for in the community is that I always pick, if there's some kind of niche product that will probably go away soon after I started putting my hands to it. Rest in peace, big data clusters. Funny enough, I was just talking about that on Blue Sky yesterday with Aaron. Anyways, so I try to take a look at all the things data out there, not on a very deep level, to be honest. So I kind of want to understand what all the buzzwords mean without being an expert. So my professional field, data analytics, has always been, probably will always be. I mean, it's too late to change it now, let's face it. But to me, that means I love anything data. So I want to understand what it does and really just play, even if there's no proper use case for it to me. but it also means I love the data community, because those two things go very much hand in hand to me. So, and at some point, I was like, well, what's my title? Because technically, my title is managing director or CEO, whatever. I'm like, well, that doesn't mean
What is it in German?
Geschäftsführer, which is
Oh,
just
wow.
a very long word with lots of umlauts and all that. It sounds very scary if you shout it. So, typical German word. It can mean anything between cookies and CEO, as long as it's written as umlauts. But nobody cares, especially at data events in the community. Nobody really cares about my title, and honestly, why should they? It doesn't really matter, especially with a small company like ours. It's not like oh, I'm running this 10,000 people shop. No, we're like 13 people working here. It's a very small boutique-ish atmosphere. So I figured I'll just make up a title.
But we have to. Okay, so we went to your office last year during this time,
True
or in
story.
December, the beginning of December, and we have to just tell everyone listening in that yes, the office is it's
Real.
small and cozy and real, of course, but they have so much Lego around. There are like Lego planes, Lego Star Warsy things. There's so much Lego.
And I think that kind of shows how you care about people and the community as well, right? It's not just you come into work, you work, and then you go, but you kind of have to care about the people. And I feel like that translates into what you do in the community as well.
I know. It's funny you should think that, but it just means I'm a nerd and I don't have enough space at home, so I had to put it.
Yeah, I tried. I tried, Ben. I really tried.
I mean, I haven't really built Lego in quite a while, and I'm slowly getting back to it because my daughter is starting to love it. At this point, it's more like me building most of the stuff and her trying to find a piece here and there. No, she's not really breaking it, but
Okay.
So, or in some cases, if it's just something that is slightly too complicated for her to even help building, she just excited playing with it. So the other day I built like a skiing hill that is actually functional, including like a small ski lift and all that. So basically there's this
Wow.
tiny little Lego figure that will just go up the lift and down the hill and up the lift and down the hill. And she could watch that for hours, I guess. So the Lego is coming back to me, not just from the big museum I'm sitting in here, but from a building perspective. So very excited about that.
Very
Yeah, you get to do it all over again, and pretend that you're doing it for your kid.
I mean, the sets we're building together, I'm going to say, are not necessarily the sets I would build by myself. And I still have a huge backlog
Yet.
sitting here, including the big Disney castle, which is obviously totally for her.
But that's the best. That's the best one. We know you're happy that you can now build that, Ben. But the secret is safe with us. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Don't
Good
worry.
thing it's
But
not on the internet or something, because that would be weird.
No. So no one knows this. It's just, this is a safe environment, of course. Don't worry. But yeah, the title here is Speak Up, Join In, Be Part of the Community. And so it's not a coincidence why you are here. And we have that title, Ben. So you said also that you love the community and you're very involved. But how did you become part of the community?
Couple of coincidences, lots of luck, lots of privilege as well, let's face it. So I've been attending community events for quite a bit. So my first actual community event was actually the PASS Summit, the old PASS Summit. Like, I'm going to say somewhere between 2009, 2010-ish. Every single time I think about that question, I come up with a different year. And at some point I have to do proper research, but somewhere there. And in the beginning, I was just a mere attendee, attending all the sessions, learning all the content, because that was kind of my way back then on learning about new stuff, then being exhausted in the evening, going to my hotel room, having dinner there, going to bed, and doing the same thing again next day, and so on and so on. And then in, I'm going to say 2015, I think that was my first one where I was a bit more involved also from a social perspective. It is also the one where I met Catherine. And I learned about BIML, how to automate integration. So it's like, okay, that is actually pretty cool because I kind of had heard about it before, but the person I was talking to about, they didn't sell it very well to me. I think if that is a fair comment.
Was that Catherine?
Basically, no, it was not Catherine.
Okay.
Catherine sold it very well. So Catherine didn't sell it to me, but Catherine explained it very well to me. So there were actually a bunch of BIML sessions at that past summit. Scott was also there, Scott Curie, the inventor of BIML and all that. And then there was an event in the evening called BIML over beers, which we used to have for a couple of years. So basically people just get together, chat, have a beer, and also talk or learn a bit about BIML. And this is kind of
I think that was the year we also rode in the BIML limo. So that was a good year.
Wow.
There were a couple of good.
Interesting.
I think that was the BIML limo year, and then there were a couple of nice BIML dinners the year and the year after. So, yeah, good times. Not that we're not having good times now, different times.
Back in the days, yeah.
Wow. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I wanna start working with that because I think it will help us get some tedious tasks away and all that. But also was like, I kind of feel like this is one way for me to get involved in the community by just starting talking about this, because back then, just like today, there were like 10 people in the world that really knew about BIML, and in Europe there was Catherine, and then there were 2 to 3 people in the US that were slightly and I felt like, well, this is kind of an area that, because I was always one of those people that were like, I don't need to talk about this and this because everybody else is, not because necessarily I was like, I got nothing to add to that, but because I could have brought different perspectives and all that. But whenever I pick a topic to talk about for me, I try to make it something where we're like, okay, not everybody else is doing that session. So you will never see me give that introduction to Fabric session. You will never see me get that first steps in Power BI session just because I don't want to compete against the others in a good or bad way.
But so your first in was the sort of missing content on this topic.
Yeah.
And that made it like possible, because I think also people feel probably what you feel or felt, Ben, that or I guess you did feel that you could contribute, but there's so many other people that do it, and it's you can really quickly think that, well, someone else is going to do it better than me, or they know it better than me, or like, so there's no point for me to contribute on that.
And even if they're just doing it different, my point back then was, am I really adding value by presenting the same session?
Yeah.
Funny enough that I say that, the first event I spoke at, Catherine also ended up being there, so I did end up presenting a very similar session to what she did. The irony in that. So you don't have to be the unicorn. We're like, oh, that is the only person in the whole wide world that will ever talk about that topic. But my point is always, and has always been, especially back then where things were slightly different. I'm going to get to what I mean by that in a second. Try to have something where not competing against everybody else, because that will make it, especially at the larger events, super, super hard. Because that was one of my first experiences. It was like, okay, that is pretty cool. The world needs to know about that. I'm going to present that everywhere. Because, like I initially said, a part of that was privilege. It was like, well, if I need to travel to a couple of these events, I can do that. I didn't have family back then, so I have the time. Traveling within Europe for a couple of weekends, let's face it, I can also afford that. Cool. All these advantages. And it was like, okay, I'm going to submit it there and there and there, and I'm pretty sure everybody's going to love those talks. Turns out I was slightly wrong, because most people did not care about me, because most people said, we don't know you. We're going to play that safe. Until the first event, which was back then, SQL Saturday Vienna 2016, which was actually on a Friday, because that's how they do it. To this day.
Makes sense. Yeah.
They were like, listen, our schedule is very full. We also have another BIML session, but we also want to give you a stage. Would you be interested in giving this as a lightning talk? And I was like, sure, why not? everybody had told me before that lightning talks are the hardest. They are, just because timing has to be so impeccable. But they gave me the first chance to speak at, and I was like, okay, I had my first gig. Now it's going to be easy, because now, again, how wrong I was. Like, even user groups, most of them wouldn't even respond back then. I was like, okay, why does this have to be so hard? And one of my qualities is that I can be very annoyingly persistent.
I've never noticed that.
I know. I hide it very well. It's very subtle. I'm perfectly fine with someone telling me no. I'm not good with people ignoring me. Funny enough, I'm the exact same person. So when those marketing people send you that email, hey, we should talk about that, I'm like, I'm not even going to reply to that. So I kind of know how it feels to be on the other side, and I'm still being that person that's like, okay. But I felt like, well, you're running a community user group. I'm offering my time for free to share something with your. I think the very least thing is you could do is tell me, hey, I don't think that content fits for us, or we only have people that our user group is only having people speak that have this and this much experience with it, which will be weird. But anyways, so I kept nagging and emailing people and all that until at some point some of them started responding. Were like, sure. And I'm pretty sure in the beginning they were like, okay, we're just gonna say yes, so he's gonna shut up finally.
I guess you had to be
so wrong.
But there's always been, like, because to me today I feel obviously there are more speakers than session slots, and everyone, or a lot of people, want to become part of it and join and speak. But has it always been like that? Has the community always been this?
It has always
big
been like
or
that.
good in
Maybe
that
not
sense?
to the extent that we have it now. So when you hear of events like, oh, we had more than 1,000 submissions for this event, but we only have like 10 slots to fill. Well, not to that extreme, but I mean, events like BITS and some, they all go over 1,000 submissions. That wasn't the case previously. So it has changed. It has increased. But it has always been the case that at least for many, many events, from my experience, that there would be more submissions than slots, which is fine. But also that many, many organizers were playing it safe by being like, well, we could have Catherine talk about BIML, and we know she has presented that session 25 times. We should have her because she has a proven track record. Why take a risk?
But Catherine is also brilliant, so I think
and I was taking Catherine as an example. She is. I've learned so much from her. There's no doubt about that. And I'm by far not the only person. So many people, whenever I talk about BIML, they're still quoting your blog. And I know you haven't blogged about BIML in a bit. So there is no question about that. But still, does that mean if some new person, no matter who it is trying to talk about the same thing, they shouldn't get a chance? And I also understand that when it comes to commercial events, that you have to bring people in that also fill the seats. You have to bring people in that also attract the crowds that are willing to pay for tickets. I totally get that. But it's about a mix, because otherwise you end up with the old same farts doing the same thing over and over again. And
But my story as well, someone took a chance selecting me for an event when I was an unknown speaker. And that made such a difference for me, being invited to speak at an event. The first one was in Portugal. So I got to travel to Portugal, and I met Nico, who was also a very passionate community kind of evangelist at that time. And I feel like you kind of need some of those people in the community who do welcome new voices and new talents and get them on the stage. And I would say that some of the newer speakers that I've seen present, they way surpass the old farts, like me or you, Ben. But
I mean, I'm by far the oldest fart here, so.
but someone needs to kind of take a chance on them, right? And you said that things have changed. So how would you say that things have changed? Is it for good, for bad, for better.
It's still a learning curve for the entire community, but I would still think they have changed for good. So back in 2018, I think was the first time we did it, 17 or 18. So one of the events I'm running with William is back then SQL Grill, now Data Grill. And one of my famous drunk ideas on the way home from speaker dinner was, hey, William, tomorrow in the keynote, how about we announce a newcomer track only for new people? And William, with his drunken attitude, was like, sure, whatever. So that's what we did. That is the honest story of how the newcomer track was born. There was a need for it, but this was kind of sometimes you need to have a fun moment that kind of
you need to be in
that
the creative headspace. Definitely.
Yeah.
That is the best way to put it. I love it. So we started the newcomer track, and to the best of my knowledge, we were the first to do it. If not, I don't really care, because if somebody else had the same super great idea, and I will say with no shame that I think it was a great idea, kudos to them. And the idea of the newcomer track was we will have one dedicated track full of people that have never presented before. We will assign them a mentor. We will help them. We will set them up for success. That does not mean that out of those, in the initial track, I think we had 7 people. Out of those 7 people, we're going to end up with 7 people that really enjoy it. We're going to end up with 7 people that will be like, oh, I really want to pursue that. Or with 7 people, everybody's like, oh, wow, that was amazing. I really want to see more of that person. No. But the same is with the old farts. So just because you've presented for 10 years still does not mean you have to be a great presenter. It doesn't mean you have to be engaging, and you may be super knowledgeable but super not engaging, or you can be super engaging and still all these things you're saying are factually wrong, or you're kind of an overlap of those, hopefully the better parts. So, and other events adopted that idea. So Data Scotland, for example, they have a newcomer track. Data Minds Connect, they have a newcomer track. Other events that may not be as focused on that may still give room for new speakers. Like last year, I was giving a lightning talk at your event, and and I'm so super great with names. The person presenting right before me, they told us, oh, by the way, this was my first ever presentation. It was like, no, it was not. Because it was so good. I'm like, and we see the same thing at the newcomer track or at the other event that we started over the pandemic, New Stars of Data, which is basically the newcomer track, but in a virtual setting. Because what happened when pandemic kicked in? Well, competition got even worse, because now all these MVPs and super great names and all that, they could now present at 5 data Saturdays on the same day, because it was all virtual, taking even more spots from the new local people. So we were kind of trying to work against that, or trying to kind of offset that to give it a little more positive note than working against something. But I mean, that's basically
providing an alternative. Yes.
The number of tweets I've seen, especially in like Q2, Q3 2020, of people being super proud on how they gave the same presentation 3 times. So they was like, first of all, I don't want to listen to myself 3 times to the same presentation on the same day. Let's start at that. But also, especially for these smaller events like a SQL Data Saturday that were also made for local people to kind of get more involved, you're really taking away from those. So this is kind of what we try to improve on. I mean, 2 of you fabulous ladies started at that event.
Yes, I was part of the very first New Stars, I think. Or like, I like to brag about it. I think it was the COVID version that I joined. Yeah.
And then I think I did the 5th one, if I'm not mistaken. So an even number, or like a round nice anniversary number for me as well.
I think so. We will be publishing the schedule for the 9th iteration very soon, because we did inform the first batch of speakers 2 days ago. We're still waiting for the final confirmations and all that. So
exciting!
Yeah. And that entire idea kind of keeps spinning, because we're like, okay, first of all, in every single iteration of New Stars, we had a couple of really amazing hidden gems of just people who were like, where have they been? You know that you're one of them.
And you shouldn't. Okay.
you two are perfect examples. To be quite honest, even though you were really fishing for compliments here, but why not? I'll bite for it.
You gave. I feel like you just gave that to us for free, but okay.
I did, and I did it in a very sincere way, straight from my heart, because you gave amazing first presentations, but you kept spinning that. You kept presenting at conferences. You just gave pre-cons together at basically. I mean, there's always this competition. Which one is the biggest data event in our field? It doesn't matter because you gave a pre-con at both of them.
Them
So,
all.
true, but also you're doing the mentoring thing. You're doing the organizing thing, apparently, because I hear what brought us
There is
together
this-
here, besides just chatting about donuts, is also that event that
The
is happening in
snacks
February,
conference? Yeah. The snack one?
the snack
Yeah.
conference. So all of these things, these are perfect, and every single time we find 2 or 3 of them in there, we're just like, okay, they make it totally worth it for us, because they make our community, but also the speaker roster, everybody can choose and pick from later on for their event so much better, making one old fart disappear at a time, said the old fart. But
No, but I think so. Obviously, the link is below, New Stars of Data, and anyone can check that out. And you have, so it's 2 times a year you release, or I guess it's not like firm and has to be 2 times a year, but approximately 2 times a year you release a call for speakers. So it's not that long to wait. So that's also good. So if anyone feels like that could be a place to start, that's nice. For me, I think New Stars of Data was a way to understand, oh, I have to write an abstract. Oh, I need to give it a good title. Oh, it's usually an hour. You usually get an hour slots. Okay, that means that I need to talk for, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes. Oh, okay, that it gave me some context and like framework sort of to on how you do it. And then I could just copy that for other conferences, and you learn sessionize. You understand how to use these tools. That's essentially what you're going to use when you apply to almost any conference. So
yep.
So to me, that just unlocked the like mystery of how do you get started and how can you become a part of this, because essentially anyone can submit to conferences. Most of the call for speakers are open. So I think that was a great way to start. Emily, how was this for you? You also had, obviously, the New Stars of Data experience. I'm not sure if you had a good mentor or how that was for you.
I had the worst mentor ever.
Oh.
She's actually in this room. No, I'm just kidding. I had the best mentor. So like Martha said, she participated in the very first New Stars of Data, and it took her 4 more New Stars of Data iterations to get me to actually submit an abstract. And then I got it selected. But yeah, for me, it was more of the same experiences that you had, Martha. But in addition, I think it was also getting the feel of actually what it means to speak in front of people, even though it was virtual. I was very nervous before my session. And so I think for me, but actually though, so I think for me, it was a very good experience to actually do one virtual first before moving on to doing it on stage, just to kind of get that comfort of having a session, talking for an hour of a topic that you feel like you know very well because you actually created an hour-long session on that topic, but at the same time you're super nervous that you are going to mess up or you're going to say something that's incorrect, and your audience is going to leave because they don't like the topic, etc., etc. So being able to do that virtually first was a very nice experience for me to actually get comfortable with just doing my thing, just explaining what I'm here to explain about, and then thank everyone for joining, and then moving on later to actually do one in not online. What do you say that now?
In real life.
In real life. In person. Yeah.
On premises.
On premises.
We're not in the cloud anymore.
But I
Yeah.
think you both, or all of you, bring up some really good points about feeling nervous, being scared, feeling like you don't have anything to contribute, you don't have anything new. And I think that for me, that is one of the important things about New Stars of Data, is providing that safety and that comfort to actually take that step to speaking, because you don't even have to have like the full idea or the full session planned out before submitting. As long as you have like, I kind of want to do this, you can submit. I have an idea, I have a topic, I work with notebooks or whatever, Power BI reports, this is what I want to talk about. And then you can get that help from experienced speakers, mentors, and to get kind of someone to work with for a couple of months. And I've been privileged to also be a mentor at a couple of different events, helping out new speakers. And it really is, I call it a privilege, because you can help someone kind of feel safe enough to share their experience. You can provide the comfort of saying that, you know what, if you feel kind of scared to talk about this thing because you're not the expert, talk about how you learned that thing. Talk about your experience, your journey, your story, how you kind of ran into something that didn't work, and this is how you solved it. Applying that real world knowledge and those stories, I feel like is a way, because no one can tell you that you were wrong. You did not experience it that way. Like it's impossible, right? But how do you feel like when we have this network, how can we encourage more people to actually start applying and to get involved? Because I feel like we still have so many people out there that have stories to tell and experiences to share, but we kind of need to find them some way. Do you have any like New Stars of Data? It's out there, but how can we get people to join us? We want you. We want all of you here.
I think that is still very much a thing of lots of mouth-to-mouth propaganda and people finding those gems and encouraging them to do it. In all honesty, when I see one of the things you can do at New Stars, when you apply, you can already let us know who you want your mentor to be. And depending on which name I see in there, in most cases, I can already tell this will be good, this will not be. I will not have an idea of the final session, but it already gives me an idea where is this person coming from, because I also know how people convince people. There's people that try to push someone to just do it. I'm like, that's not how it works, because every single time also we have that small handful of people who I can tell they're really uncomfortable, that they're not enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, there is no point.
You will not do it again.
In the end, it is about having fun and all that, to be quite honest. That is the most important thing. So and that is what, to this day, when I get on stage, being at a virtual stage or a on-premises stage, I'm like, well, whatever will go wrong during this session will go wrong. At this time, it is too late to fix it. So the most important thing is for me to engage with my audience, for me to have a good time also, and then whatever happens, and take it from there. And that also helps me a lot with just being like, well, I'm not really nervous about that, not because I'm so super confident that nothing will go wrong. Quite the contrary. I'm a friend of live demos, so something will go wrong, let's face it. But that's okay, because as long as you still get the overall concept across, it doesn't really matter for people to see that specific process to actually finish. At some point, they will potentially just believe you that if I click that button and it stops spinning at some point, this and this will have happened. Would it have been cool if they had actually seen it? Sure, but that doesn't really matter. But so basically, to give a better answer to your question, Catherine, I think what really helps, not just New Start, but all the events that help new speakers, is advocates, people that be like, it can be a work colleague, it can be a friend, it can be someone you run into at a community conference, and just creating that awareness. I had the honor and pleasure of introducing Ginger Grant for the keynote at the PASS Summit this year. And me being me, of course, I did the shameless self-plug. I mean, 3 of you were there, and mentioned New Stars. And just out of that, assuming where these people came from, and some of them also put it in the notes. We got more applications to the next event that we have slots to fill remotely. So maybe it was a bad idea of me doing that, because we're going to say no to a lot of people again this time, which almost always kind of breaks my heart. But at the same time, we kind of figured, okay, there's a maximum size to this event. We tried making it bigger, and then a couple of things just did not go the way we want them to. So we're like, okay, this is the limit. This is what we can provide. This is what we can do. And obviously, there's usually not a good way of picking sessions when it comes to new stars, because you cannot really rate abstracts, because as you've said, some of these people don't even have proper abstracts. It's really about them getting the idea or their concept across. Like, do I think that is something they can fill an hour with? That is the only thing we can really judge or evaluate people on. But then again, there's other events we can redirect them to. So that's the other thing we always do. Hey, we're really, really sorry. There's many slots, there's many applications. We will have another edition, and we always make sure someone that applies again, they will kind of get preferred treatment. Unless it's the same MVP again that is bragging how they've been an MVP and how they've been doing keynotes for years, but they never presented at our event, so they really should qualify.
But they want to be a new star.
I think that's
because they're an old fart.
You have old farts applying to new stars. Yeah.
If your profile picture on Session Nice is you on a keynote stage, please don't bother.
Okay, but so essentially anyone can apply to new stars as long as you got a topic, and it's okay to be scared or have imposter syndrome or all these things, as long as you have something you can talk about.
It's human to have all these things.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to get a mentor. So even though your abstract may not be perfect or you don't really know how to fill the entire slot, that's where the mentor comes in. So they can help you with that as well. Yeah. So it's scary, but you can do it. I guess motivation is the only key ingredient, I think, because you need to have some sort of drive to do it again, because there will be a lot of friends around you in the community that's gonna push you a bit and help you out, but you have to also continue yourself and want to do it and find the other events and so on. And if you do that,
it was a one-time experience, which is also perfectly fine. If you
true.
I gave it a try. It was not for me. I think that's cool.
That's true.
At least
could be
tried.
A test stage, for sure.
Because we've had people approach us afterwards. That was like, thank you. I did not really enjoy the presenting experience, but I really enjoyed getting all that content together. So this led me to starting a blog where I'm like,
you found your way.
That is just as.
Yes.
Maybe speaking is not your channel. That is perfectly cool.
Exactly. There's many ways to contribute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I also just want to quickly mention that even though you feel like you have a topic that is kind of exhausted already, that a lot of people are also having sessions about, I don't want you to feel like you can't pick that topic just because of that, because sometimes you are able to explain something in a very easy way, or in a way that other people will understand. But for instance, an old fart wouldn't be able to explain in the same manner. So it doesn't really mean that even though the topic has been talked about before, that it is used up at all.
True.
And as long as you make it still your session, I think that is a very important part, because we rarely have that, but actually, just for this one, we had someone submit their abstract. Basically, was like, I saw this in this session by that and that person, and I want to present that session myself. And was like, well, you're presenting somebody else's content. That is not really what we're looking for.
Not the way to go. Definitely. But so Ben, you're obviously going to Fabric February.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. And and the dates are here. If anyone was still wondering when it's gonna happen, it's soon. It's gonna be Christmas, and then boom, we're there.
Should we see how many days there are until Fabric February?
Yeah, do that.
It's 49 days.
Oh my God, it's nothing. Don't freak out. But
it's 7 weeks. It's less than 2 months. It's not even a quarter. Oh my God.
Nothing. It's nothing. So I guess it's time to get excited. But you have a session, Ben. You're gonna do something that I would say is not like the regular session.
I have a very well. I mean, I have lots of talents, obviously, besides being very humble and modest. But one of my other talents is make other people do the work and make me look good by it. So, I mean, one of those things is New Stars, where we have the mentors and the speakers and the moderators do the work, and William and I just show up. And my session at Fabric February shall be no different. So, what I was thinking for this, and it's also one of those things that may either be super fun or they may go totally wrong. So it may be one of the things that I keep submitting to other events, or it may be one of the things that I will bury in the archives. So
you're getting to this is your test slot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you may or may not be familiar with the TV show Chopped, where professional or unprofessional chefs get a mystery box of ingredients and then have to cook something with it. And we're basically going to do Chopped Fabric Edition. So I'm going to invite a couple of friends on stage with me. I'm thinking 2, maybe 3, but probably 2 teams. Started talking to a couple of people, haven't made my final decision yet. And they're going to get a mystery box, as in a mystery data set. And this is where I need the community's help, because I haven't fully decided yet on what a fun data set might be. So if any of y'all have fun ideas on data sets, send it to me by email, send it to me on Blue Sky, send it to me on LinkedIn, send it to Martha, Emilia, and Catherine. They will send it to me. Just let me know. It can be as crazy as you want, as long as it is code of conduct compliant. That's all I'm going to say. So basically, they were going to get a mystery data set, and then they have to build a fun report on it and tell us their findings on what that data is telling us. So like I said, the crazier, the better. This is what I'm thinking. And when I was spinning that idea, I think it could be a really fun and entertaining thing. Again, it could also go totally wrong because there's no fun findings in that data.
And too much live demos.
I mean, what could go wrong? Well,
I could store it in ADLS and then Azure Storage goes down that day.
I think I was
speaking
in
from
your
experience
when that happened.
Shut the front door. I mean,
I'm
Azure
serious.
took that way too literal, but
No, but I think so. I mean, from our point of view, anything snack related is, of course, okay.
I think that would be good.
I was just about to say that. Where did you get that idea from?
No idea. Just, the creative headspace. But, and also, I guess anything on, now I'm thinking, because obviously we're going to have speakers from all over the world. We're going to have attendees from all over the world. It's really exciting. But obviously, some or maybe more Scandinavian speakers, no attendees. So also, I was just thinking anything on obviously cold snow or competition, data sets between the big cities like Copenhagen, Stockholm, and Oslo.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Scandinavians tend to compare and
they don't,
No.
because Norway
compete,
always win.
but sometimes we might do, and the audience might find that exciting.
Yeah, as you can tell, Norwegians, we have completely forgotten that both Sweden and Denmark used to kind of own our country. So there's
we're not bitter at all.
No, not at all.
No, that's okay.
So if
No
you
problem.
put two teams with something, there are a lot of fun ideas here.
Yeah,
You could also throw Finland in or Iceland in, and it would also be fun. So go crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, I mean, just a couple of ideas from the top of our heads from the Nordic point of view.
Best snacks across countries.
Yes, this. What snacks are people eating in the different countries?
It
should be a competition.
or
I
Finnish.
think, yeah, who are better at chocolates. Oh, that's also a thing. If there's a way to figure out what chocolate is actually best, looking at the data, because the data doesn't lie. I know Belgium, obviously great chocolates, but Norway, on our own, I don't think anyone else in the world think this, but the Norwegians, we are really proud to have the best chocolate in the world. I'm not sure the rest of the world knows, but that's true. So that would also be
I'm not sure anybody agrees, but by the way, Best fabric master ever, right here.
I don't know, but yeah, that would also be interesting because now we're combining the snack theme and the like friendly competition stuff.
And like, do Danes eat more Danish, like the Danish
Pastry stuff.
pastry stuff?
Do
Yeah.
they even call it
Norwegian.
Danish, or do they just call it pastry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
they
do
do.
Norwegian
They?
eat more? Yeah.
I mean, we call
I
our
feel like
chocolate
people
Norwegian
should go out
chocolate,
to the streets and ask some questions, and then we
Yes,
will have
we
a data set.
Oh,
all-
so basically we're
Can
going to start in
people-
the morning, send those people out, basically collect that data set. Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
No, but yeah, so you don't only have to like, here's a data set. That was cool. Try that. You can also create the data set. Send out the
Only
surveys.
49 days.
I think that is a great
Yeah.
idea. We're gonna
a
have
lot of time.
a survey. I'm gonna do a little more thinking on that. Maybe you can promote that a little bit with people for them to fill it in, and that's gonna be our data set. Because that's also one of the things I was like, I'm not sure this is going to work. I think people need to have a slight idea of what to expect, because otherwise that hour will just be too short. If you're like, okay, here's a parquet file. In the next hour, figure out what's in it, because we're not gonna tell you anything. Also create a report based on it and then tell us your findings. That may not be as fun as it sounds at first. So if they get a couple of clues without seeing the actual data, I think that is
Get the community involved in the session.
Because it also means we can blame the community if the data set is not as funny.
Yeah, or we can like,
or if it has outliers, like people being like, best chocolate in the world, Norway. No offense.
Yeah, but that would, I mean, I would not be surprised if that was the result, but the data doesn't
I
lie, so
agree.
let's
We
see.
should also make sure the data set contains the information where that record was saved from. So, and then maybe we can see the correlation.
could be some bias to pick up in the data set as well.
I mean, bias in data is a thing, and I think that snack survey will bring all that to light. Wow.
Yeah, I think
We're going to start a
I
war,
think-
but
that's a great way to finish this live stream. Great wrap up.
finish on a positive note.
World War III. No, but let's use the data. Maybe we should turn it upside down. Let's see how data can unite us. And stop the competing part. Let's see. Maybe it's gonna be we're all best or something. Yeah. No, but let's see. But Ben, it's been so great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being a fantabulous Fabric February friend. Together with the Nerdycorn, of course. Yes, representing.
Sparkly.
Yes, but the sparkly version. And I hope everyone got really inspired and also saw how easy it is to become part of the community. New Stars of Data is a great way to start. And I guess if anyone has any questions, they can just contact us, right, Ben? They can shoot you a message on Blue Sky or maybe LinkedIn, something like that.
Whatever they feel like. Anything but X, because I'm not really following there anymore, because we're finishing on a positive note. So moving away from the dark places, moving into brighter places. But yeah, anyone who wants to talk about either mystery data set or getting started with speaking, feel free to either reach out to me or obviously the two ladies on this call who went through that exact process. I want to say not so long ago, but it's been a bit, so medium long ago. I think that is a very accurate way of measuring time.
And as we say in the live data.
Can I also add, if you are attending Fabric February, go and talk to the people there. Go and talk to the speakers, and like we're all just people, right? We're not some untouchable, like even though we are stars, we are not untouchable, right? You can come and talk to us. We love to help others and bring people into the community. And I would
also,
say
don't
for
just touch
all
people.
of the speakers, no, don't do that. Just talk to them in a friendly, kind, and polite code of conduct way. But yes, go and talk to the speakers and start that conversation. Take that first step of just getting to know more people. And I would even though our schedule is packed full of amazing sessions, it's okay to skip a session and just have conversations with other people in the community and build out that network. Hallway track is sometimes some of the best things that you can get out of an event like that. Yeah.
Definitely.
And if you also feel like you should or you want to be more involved even for Fabric February, you could also sign up as a volunteer.
That is a perfect start.
So yeah, we're still looking for volunteers. So if you're into it, then reach out and we will give you the right tools to sign up.
Definitely. And we want volunteers. We need volunteers. You don't have to be an experienced volunteer to join. You just have to be energized and excited about the snacks, essentially. That's our requirements.
Snacks
Yes.
are the best.
All the snacks. Okay, but thank you, Ben. And we will see you at February in very, very, very soon.
In less than a year.
Oh my God. We're definitely less than a year. Oh, okay. Thank you, guys.
See you soon. Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
Ciao.
Merry
Happy holidays.
Christmas.